and welcome back to another episode of UltrasXI. I'm Joe.
And I'm Alex.
And today's random fact of the day is, you already know. Yeah, have to. As you already know, whether you've seen a tiger in pictures in real life, or maybe you've been mauled by a tiger. I don't know. I'm not you. But past their fur, they actually still have stripes, even on their skin. Now, I know that's going to segue into my next topic. There's something else that has stripes.
Joe, what's these segues? What's he like?
These stripes.
No. Joe, you're not getting off that easy. It's sunny in it, Nay. Sunny in it.
I know what's happening.
You're not getting into that quickly right now. We're not skipping over the fact of Europa League just finishing last week after our episode, so we didn't have a chance to talk about it. And today, I think, is that perfect moment to kind of talk about that. And I'm not just gonna take jabs at you, Joe, because I know you got a lot to say about our friend Ant Taylor over there. So we're also gonna get into him because that's a whole almost another subject on its own. But Joe, let's get into the Europa League. I want to know.
You didn't know today's episode is sponsored by Stella Artois, the girl that will never leave you and disappoint you, like a bald fraud named Anthony Taylor.
Joe's hey. You're not gonna move past this whole Roma segment. We're talking about it. It's being spoken about. The time is now, Joe. It has come. Before we get into anything, I just want to hear from you, your thoughts coming after the match. Obviously, we know the ref is a big part of it. Just keep him out of it. Just about Roma right now. Your thoughts about the game, the outcome, the way they went about it, and everything.
So, I don't know if anybody knew this about me, which I feel like I've made it pretty evident. Besides me being a Roma fan, but I'm very superstitious. All right. There's certain things I don't do. I will wear the same clothes. I will literally say the same things. Like it's just how I am internally built. Like I'm superstitious in that regard.
Before you continue, just so you guys know at home, see this jersey he's wearing now that I've been telling him every episode, Joe, just put it on. We have it's been on this chair that he sits on every episode. He did not want to put it on because it was there. Roma won every game in the Europa League, and it had to stay there till the final. Today, he finally put it on because it's been a while since he put on a jersey, and a Roma one at that. So I just wanted to let you guys know how superstitious he actually is.
Yeah, it's
But continue.
So we have this thing. I have this thing where, like last year, I watched a Conference League final with my two cousins. Only other Roma fans I've ever met.
The only ones I haven't read either.
Yeah, too. Exactly. So, I wanted to watch the game in the exact same place, exact same everything, but I had the little devil on my shoulder. No, let's go to the Roma club meetup. Let's do it. There's other Roma fans there, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, man? Like, it sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
Seemed like a good idea at first.
I don't know. Like, if the best happens, that's amazing. I'm running in the streets naked. I'm taking my clothes off. I don't care. If the worst happens, I don't know how I'll react, but I'm hoping the best happens here. I'm just praying, right? Went against everything I believe in. I didn't watch the game how I usually watch it. I went to this Roma club meetup, and don't get me wrong, the vibes were sick. I will show you guys videos one day, maybe, if you ever see me. If I actually leave my house
if he doesn't cry, maybe he'll post them up.
Cry
he might rewatch them and just start remembering. And
it was honestly a good vibe.
I can't post it.
I've had my cousin. He took the best moment of me, which was me crying after Dybala scored, and he has the absolute worst moment of me, which is me sitting on a curb crying because we lost.
And that was after the game.
Yeah. And that was after the game, if you didn't know, because Roma lost. And we're not going to talk about the referee. We're going to talk about Roma.
Hey, dude, Roma made you cry twice that day.
Yeah. I never realized I was that bipolar in my life. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And
Roma will make you realize those things.
I've never experienced that kind of roller coaster within fucking 120 minutes or more. But regardless, besides the referee, I will honestly look at you and say, in the moment, I will say Roma did nothing wrong. But after like a day, two, maybe actually even a week. That's why we didn't.
A couple days.
That's why we didn't record on Monday.
Actually, I'll say that's why we didn't record on the Monday because he needed a little bit more time to fully heal. And, and I get it. I've been in that spot before.
It was a very tough pill to swallow because The guy I've been backing this whole season, and you know what? I'll still back him, a.k.a. Mancini, Mancho, one of my captains. He scored an own goal. He missed a penalty shot. But you know what? At the end of the day, I will look at you guys and say I do not blame him. What I blame, and I hate saying this because I know I might get attacked here, it's Mourinho's stagnant style of play. And it pains me to say this because you've been doing this whole, you score a goal, you park the bus, and I get it. I honestly do get it. Catenaccio, I will still look at everyone and say it still thrives. It still does well. But when you have a team like Roma does, you don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we've cut it close many games before. Bayern Leverkusen hit what, like 7 posts?
Fuck, we watched that second game here.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like there's been times where like
simulator by
Roma. And like you just park the bus and you hope that Roma doesn't concede. And you don't do that against a Spanish side. I'm not going to even say Sevilla. A Spanish side, which they are bred to attack. Yeah. I watch out that Sevilla-Juve game. Juve literally was parking the bus and trying to hit them on the counter. Why? Because Sevilla is so dominant in attack. They have no defensive ability whatsoever. Mm-hmm. It's literally just all attack. And sometimes that's what you need. And Roma clearly couldn't hold down the fort. Why we stopped at 1 goal and then decided to sub everybody out? Beyond me. Dybala, I get it. He was injured. You have to sub him out. He only had 60 minutes in the tank. I get that. But your decisions on who you subbed in for those guys, that's where I'm going to question you. Genie hasn't been fit all week, all year.
I'll say all week.
Not even just week. All year, he hasn't been fully 100%. And you sub him in as your first sub, questionable. I would have put him both in. I'm not a coach. You take out Tammy for Belotti. Fine, I get it because he works hard off the ball. Cool. But then you take out Pellegrini. You take out all these guys. And I'm just there watching and I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster. We have literally parked the bus. There is nothing going forward in extra time. So you are going to park the bus for extra time as well. And it's not as if fucking Rui Patricio over there is some God-sent angel in penalty shots. It's not like we have Szczesny, and I hate to say this, but Szczesny is a great penalty shot stopper.
Yeah, he is.
It's not like we have fucking Emi Martinez at the helm that he's going to rob everybody and not even bat an eye. Like your goalie sucks in pens. You have also taken off your best penalty shot takers. And then you leave it up to the defenders to try to get you that win.
That was him trying to be tactical.
I get it.
I get it too, but man, and like I don't know, you don't take those kind of risks in a final. He did not prepare himself. Like he was parking the bus. What made those subs, like you said, you have to have a game plan. If his game plan is okay, hold them off till penalties, and then let's try to win it in penalties. Leave your good penalty takers on and sub on guys that are good penalty takers. Yeah, you're just taking off everybody, putting on guys that don't take penalties or not good at them. And then you're like, yeah, you know what? Can I go tactical? I'm going to put, because usually center backs, they are better at penalties.
Yeah. Like it's actually a scientific thing.
And you just tried to go and put it on in the hands of these 2 guys that, okay, they're not like experienced veterans that, like you can rely on them. Like it was a big moment for them and they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And you saw like Mancini's penalty. I'm sorry. That was horrible. Like if you're going to put in the middle, you gotta lift it up.
You have to put some height on it.
You got to put some height on it. You don't put it on the ground in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
That penalty, like watching that was like, okay, that's the inexperience of Mancini. Yeah. That's where you saw it.
He's never been put in that position.
You don't see it often
either, right?
from him because like he's just a very like raw player. Like he's always attacking. You're not going to see him really mess up in a challenge and like that, because even if he does, he'll still pull the guy down and get the foul.
Yeah,
he'll do that. But that was a moment where you saw him that was a rookie mistake, people would say, and that's a learning experience for him now.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, Mancini had kind of understood why you would select him as one of your defenders to take that shot, simply because, like throughout the season, he's been playing good balls. He has that vision. He's able to ping a pass. Like I've seen it. So I can't actually say that was a bad choice. Mm-hmm. I would have expected better from Mancini. But it's like you said, it's an experience.
And other than the inexperience, the only other reason, and you can even ask my dad, when we were watching the penalties, even before, like after that own goal, you saw like a different side of Mancini that you didn't really see.
You
like
saw him depleted.
He looked scared. He looked like he wasn't as confident as he usually is. And even going up that penalty, you saw him walking up there, man. That was not the face of a confident guy, a confident guy.
No, I agree.
You saw it in his face, and I'm sorry, man. Mourinho, he doesn't, often with his little tactical things that he doesn't often get it wrong. That game, and you know what, the way he played out the end of the season, obviously the whole Juve point deduction didn't help because no one knew where they were at any point.
Yeah,
but he put all of his eggs in that one basket of we're going to win Europa League, and that's what's going to get us to Champions League, and it didn't work out.
Don't get me wrong. I don't blame that Jurgen Klopp just fell. But I don't blame that theory because
like Roma. I'm sorry. We're talking about it. It just happened.
I don't blame it though. I don't blame it. I don't blame it simply because it's like, what else do you have, right? Like you don't control a certain destiny, whereas one destiny you have more of a say.
When you make those kind of moves and you make those decisions that say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna put, like I said, everything into that, all the eggs into that one basket. If it doesn't work out, it's gonna come back on you, and you have to accept it and be like, hey, I fucked up. Like, just take it. You can't be like, no, with this. Yes, you can still blame the whole Juve and Italy thing. It fucked up a lot of people, but you can't just give up in the season. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta be able to push in that and in Europa League.
And listen, I'll be the
first. It's not like they're full out attacking in Europa League anyways. They got the one goal and it worked to get them to the final, but finals you can't do that.
Listen, I'll be the first to look at you and say, like, I was wrong too, because I said fuck the league, go for Europa League. It's silverware. It's something you control more of. It's like. I'll be the first to say I gambled on that too. Like it's an undefeated title against another undefeated title.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly there was one winner. Like I know you said not to harp on this. I know you said not to mention it, but it's just, I think of what ifs all the time. I think of I think of the what if,
any of those, especially in a final.
And I'm not
look at any moment and you're like, what? Like, I don't want to bring up Juve here, but I think it was the Barcelona game.
Mehdi Benatia.
No. That was the semifinal. I was thinking in a final.
With Buffon when he got sent off?
That was the semifinal. That was semifinal.
Okay.
So against Real Madrid, that was whatever. That honestly, that year there, Madrid was just too fucking good. But the Barcelona year, they had MSN, they had Iniesta, Xavi, and everything. But that year, I genuinely think we could have won.
Yeah.
What fucked us was it was 2-1 at that point. Barcelona just scored. I think it was Vidal or Pogba. I can't remember right now. It was Vidal. Vidal got fouled in their box. No pen. And even to this day, like, you'll look back at it, and I'll show you after we record. You're gonna look at me and be like, dude, that's a fucking pen. Like, it was a clear day foul. It wasn't called. And I know that's what you're segueing right now into about the referee, which I do want to talk about now. But dude, that it puts a sour taste in your mouth. But at the end of the day, what are you gonna do?
No,
now
true.
Look, now it's just a pass.
True.
Now it's
it is true.
No one remembers that fuck up. Everyone just remembers that Barca beat Juve in the final.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, as much as I really do want to blame Anthony.
Now let's talk about Anthony Taylor.
I want to blame Anthony Taylor, and this is gonna sound really dark on my behalf. I don't care though. He should have got more than just a chair thrown at him by the Roma Ultras. Now, I will say his family was there and everything like that. I don't condone that violence because they have nothing to do with it. But it's like fuck you, Klopp. It's like my dad used to say, he's just going to stay down. He's going to rest.
He's at a tough year.
My hands keep on moving. I'm sorry. But it's like my dad always says, like, sometimes people need a slap in the mouth just to wake up and realize what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And, like, if this is like a one-off thing from Anthony Taylor that, he made a mistake, like, hey, you know what? He's not prone to this. I get it. Italian referees, Orsato, Rocky, they all have such a bad name because, they make such controversial decisions. Anthony Taylor is literally responsible for so many fuck-ups with Juve. Who the fuck sends off Buffon? Anthony Taylor does. Why is that? Chelsea, you've met him before, Ro. He has even said Anthony Taylor is the reason why there were so many Chelsea games lost.
Yeah.
Even
those pictures that you sent them, just from the
exactly.
Season,
dude, Harry Maguire curb stomped somebody in the nuts, and fucking Anthony Taylor said, "It's fine, you're okay." and to me, it's like, I read the other day, the final is going to be investigated because of Anthony Taylor. Like, UEFA's actually looking into it because Roma might have a point, or like with their their fucking complaints and shit like that.
Mhm.
Fine, cool. But what the fuck does that solve?
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Are you going to replay the game? No. Are you
Is
going to give
Roma
them
gonna
a pen right now?
automatically win?
No.
Yeah.
No. Nothing changes. At the end of the day, a ref's decision is a ref's decision.
Yeah.
And the verdict came out. Apparently, Anthony Taylor did nothing wrong. Fine. That's up to everybody to decide. I don't give a fuck anymore. But now he's also being invited to the Champions League final, and Mr. Chefrin is taking him out for dinner, him and his family. That sounds fucking lovely. And it also sounds to me like you got something in your back pocket. Like, I hate to agree with people when they say that there's like an agenda against Italian soccer, because I feel like that's just absurd considering like the history and shit like that. But certain moments like this, it genuinely makes me wonder,
we also got to see too. We have Fiorentina and West Ham playing tomorrow.
Yep.
Saturday we have the Champions League game. So obviously, I mean, that, like the Champions League one is where we're like everyone from the beginning, even before Roma played, it was like, okay, if Inter wins, like that'll be massive, and like they at the end of the day they could do it because you've seen Man City is beatable, especially in finals where because they want it so bad. They're not their normal, like they're shaky. They're not the normal subs. You saw that with Chelsea when they beat them.
Yeah.
So that game is still kind of up in the air, but you kind of know it should be City because they are the more superior team.
Yeah.
But now seeing what happened with Roma, and okay, Sevilla did play good. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to win, because you can make the argument for Roma too. Roma didn't play good.
No, exactly.
They were just doing enough. So Sevilla, they played good. They did, like, they won in pens. They deserved to win. Minus what all the referees' errors, whatever that happened. Now with this game here with West Ham, now you got to see what happens too. If you see a couple questionable calls that don't get called for Fiorentina, and then Fiorentina end up losing because of those, then it's kind of looking more of an agenda on Italian teams than anything else, because that's like because the fact that all Italian teams this year, we had two of them in Europa League semifinal, three of them in Champions League semifinal, one of them in Conference League semifinal, or in the final now. They didn't like that. They could not afford to have two out of the three Italian teams end up winning these competitions. And Inter ended up winning 3 out of 3. Imagine what that would do. Imagine how that would look on like English soccer, the one that they're trying to
that's the thing.
Bring up and make them their king and like,
with Chefrin. That's the thing. Like I just don't put anything past this guy anymore. Like I read the comments about him with Juve, and I thought, it's just against Juve because there's a personal relationship between Agnelli and him. So I thought that's just solely based off of him. But then I even said in the group chat, like it was. I hate the fact that Roma has a coach like Mourinho, because he's such a public figure, right? Yeah. It's like they want to punish him. And there's times I wish we had a fucking no-name coach again, because Mourinho, as much as I want to stroke him and like whatever, like with Mourinho comes certain animosities, comes certain stories, comes certain things. And it's like, the reason why like anything happened, like not anything, but like certain things will not go your way is because Mourinho has a past of beefing referees, arguing this and that, whatever.
Referees are very aware of that.
Oh, yeah. And like, look, the last 2 referees we had in the Europa League, one of them was known for giving Mourinho the most red cards. Michael Oliver or whatever his name is over there. Oliver something. Anthony Taylor, second referee. That gave him the most red cards. Like, you're telling me that's not some sort of script that like you can only conjure up, and like it's just annoying. It's just frustrating. But
Joe, I get it.
We're here. We lost. Roma's in the Europa League next year.
Nothing's worse.
I guess, maybe.
Nothing's worse than watching a whole, no matter honestly what it is, the Europa League, Champions League. You watch that whole run, you get to the final, and you like, no matter, like, even Inter fans, I know that they're all like, oh no, we're gonna lose, but inside of them, they have that little bit of hope, man, no matter that little bit of faith that you're like, maybe, like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, going into both finals, I know what teams Juve was playing, man. It was the best Real Madrid team and the best Barcelona team,
but there's still
there was like, hey, it's one game, the ball's round,
it's true,
anything can happen. They just have to play the best game that they could. And then when something stupid happens and like with a referee and like it just puts such a sour taste in your mouth after watching it. Like when for your team to lose, it's one thing. Like it sucks. Like it hurts, especially like in a final. Like it just that's maybe for me, like an idiot, I continued watching both ceremonies at the end and just seeing them. I was like, I might do this to myself. I'm just torturing myself at this point.
I was crying on a curb.
Yeah, I was just standing there like I couldn't even move. I was literally just in disgust. I was like, man, what's the point? You come here for what? But that's soccer, man. That's why we love it. Listen, like honestly, I don't quote Allegri much, but I will say this quote here, it always gets me, and it's true. Soccer was created by the devil.
Damn, and I've been watching Lucifer lately.
Yeah. Man, it's an evil sport, but
for me, it's like what Matic said to Dybala.
It's football.
Matic looked at Dybala. Dybala was crying. I think that's what broke me.
That hurt me too, man.
Matic is just looking at him like a proud father, smiling from ear to ear. Hey, it happens. It's football. Mm-hmm. Pats him on the chest, and I'm like, damn.
Man, that's like his second European final that he's lost, man. He's like, hey, he wanted it more. We can share this moment. We can't do that much, but
it hurts.
We can share. Hey, next season we can share some moments when we're fucking cheering on the Magpies.
Gosh, dude,
we're in Champions League, baby.
Also, we established recently that me and Al butt heads all the time about like the teams we support.
And since Italy and Serie A is just you lose hope. We're always gonna love our team, but there's an agenda. Like there's no point in watching until the league gets sold and money starts coming in like the Premier League. It's never gonna be able to compete.
Brother, until fucking Chefrin gets fired.
Yeah, that's true too.
Fuck you, Chefrin.
Chefrin out.
Fuck you.
Me and Joe are joining forces, and we're gonna be supporting the Magpies next season.
Dude, up the Magpies, buddy. Santiago Munoz is gonna bang in a couple.
Now you gotta get a jersey. I got my jersey on the way. You get yours, dude.
No, I'm getting dunk on the back, baby. Got fucking dunk because I'm like 6 feet.
First episode of next season, we're both rocking our new kits for our new teams.
You think I'm kidding? I'm in.
Maybe we'll do a little watch along.
I'm in.
Nuts. Oh my god, fire me up! Can't wait for next season with the Magpies.
But
enough about the Magpies.
But we're talking about something striped. Zebras are striped, but so are
is this guy
tigers.
Kanye West? Who is this?
But
guy
on top of tigers being striped, you know what else is striped? Alexander.
Joseph.
Milan is striped.
Milan is a lot of things. I wouldn't say striped.
So right they're may be black and blue, and not because of Inter, because of the bruises they're taking.
That's good.
Yeah, see, dude, I'm
leave me hanging here.
Fucking sick with it, dude. So, asides of my anger towards Europe,
we're gonna
Roma,
let that, guys. We've had enough Roma talk
what,
today.
Guys,
I think that was the first time Joe spoke about Roma since the game. So, hey Joe, you did good. I know that was tough.
It hurts, but
let's move on from that. That's in the past now. Let's leave it in the past.
I don't want no scrubs.
Exactly.
So
now let's just talk about the new scrubs of the season.
New scrubs.
Milan.
So the season has actually come to an end. Every single league. Also, while I'm saying that, I want you to stay posted. Season 2 is also going to come now. We got a lot of ideas. There's going to be a crazy little promo.
A lot of changes come in season 2. You guys will see.
Maybe you get to see me and Al in our boxers walking around on a soccer field. I don't know. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to do a promo video. But regardless of that, we've seen a lot of ups, seen a lot of downs, seen some upsets, seen points being robbed.
Yeah. Dude, it was a season that really took everybody by surprise, I would say.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster from start to end. And I mean, hey, it was legendary, man. Fucking Napoli won. Like,
you know what?
When the fuck
it is
does
what
that
it is.
happen?
It is what it is. You know what? Like, big ups to whoever came out on top.
Whatever
Dortmund fumbled the bag. It happens.
Oof.
But
Dortmund, ya wankers.
But we are not speaking of this, right?
Bigger wankers than Dortmund? Milan.
There you go.
What an ending to their season.
So,
what an ending.
If you guys didn't know, which I feel like a lot of people may know if you're on Twitter, Reddit, anything like that.
I'll do a quick little recap. So, Milan, happier than... Which one? Over there. He's hidden. He's hidden.
I'm not going to go grab that. I'm not going to grab it.
He's hidden just like in the headquarters right now. But start things off. Milan fans happier than a pig in shit. Leao's extending. Leao's staying. Our baby Angel's staying. He's not going anywhere. They're all like, we're on top of the world.
Couple smiles as he bangs in a couple goals, right?
We're going to win it again. He's back. We're going to run it back. Get a couple, depth signings, a couple new guys, a new striker. We're going to be good. No, not so fast.
Talk dirty to me now.
Last game of the season, Ibra all of a sudden comes out. Everyone thought he was going to leave, but guy announces he's retiring. Emotional as hell. Everyone's like, "Holy shit! Did not expect that." Hit all the Milan fans hard. I would say the Serie A fans hard because at the end of the day, Serie A enjoyed him for most of his career.
I didn't because
Juve,
he never
not
played
with Roma,
against
but
Roma.
with Juve, Inter, and with
Roma.
Milan. Yeah. That happened. It was a sad day. I was grateful enough to be able to watch him. And then the day
get to the meat and potatoes, buddy.
The day after that happens, all of a sudden you see Maldini, Masada in a meeting with the Cardinal Official, talking to them. Apparently it's getting heated. Stuff's not working out. All of a sudden, Maldini and Masada are leaving. Oh, no, wait. Maldini and Masada sacked. Dude.
Who would have thunk?
Who the fuck would have thought the guy that was the biggest part of this rebuild got all these players to agree to stay, and the players literally are coming out and saying, what the fuck? Because Maldini was the reason that they extended or they ended up coming to that team, and now the guy's gone, just kicked to the curb like nothing.
Now, listen, I'm going to ask you the question, you tell me your input, but I just have to come on and say this before you even respond. What the fuck is happening in Milan? I'm sorry. I told you guys from the beginning. I said this from the beginning. Something about fucking Jared Cardinale of the Redbird Association.
We both said it last year when it happened.
It was fraudulent.
Yeah, you can go back on the episode. We both said it's the worst move for Milan. Why are you selling to these guys? It's just going to go downhill from here.
What is that?
It doesn't happen right away. Just like every other company.
I'm going to look at you and say my initial thoughts of this. And that was going to be my question to you, but I'm going to tell you mine.
You tell me first.
This is very pent up, especially because Pear, I know you may listen to this. This is your just desserts, buddy.
For once, Joe, this season, all the fucked up shit is not happening to my team. So, no, okay, dude, this stuff here, but we're dealing with it. We don't have people in charge to fire, Joe. Mm-hmm. So this can't happen to us, right?
You're right.
So this is just, it's weird. It's weird seeing something else happen to a different team.
My initial thoughts when I saw the news was broke, I'm like, damn, they're parting ways. Like,
did you believe it at first? Like when you kind of first saw the reports of
because even last year Maldini was almost out, and then they somehow just lured him back in, and then this year new ownership, maybe I thought they'll have enough to convince him. I don't know, but a semifinalist, like that's kind of impressive for a team that's still technically rebuilding,
and
right?
Convince your star player to re-sign.
Exactly. So I thought
free next year.
I thought for sure, like maybe something, whatever. I just want to honestly say Milan has fumbled the bag royally. And I know a lot of people say, yeah, okay, but he signed Florenzi, who's injured, De Ketelare flop, of Franks or whatever the fuck his name is, however you pronounce it. Oh, he sucks. No, but he also brought you Benassi, Tonali, Tomori, Giroud, Ibra came back home, Theo Hernandez, Rafael Leao, Brahim Diaz, somehow you convinced to stay for 2 years.
Found Kalulu out of
Mike
nowhere.
Maignan for dirt cheap.
A whole fucking more than a starting 11.
My guy has literally built a team in multiple seasons with a budget under 50 mil. And honestly, my hat goes off to Maldini. It goes to show you the power of a player and loyalty.
The people that I talk about, like the Ketelare, like those signings that ended up being flops. Or I mean, I think the Ketelare, okay, it's one season. Next season, you're gonna see how he does. Look at Tonali. He was a flop the first season. Second season, one of the best midfielders in Italy. But
Hakano, look at him now.
Tell me right now, and you can even go ask the question to all those people saying that. Which sporting director in any team that was part of a project and built this whole thing got it right with 100% of the players?
Nobody.
None of them.
Nobody. There's always going to be flaws.
There's always going to be guys that they look good or they're playing very well in one league or with a team that they come and they can't do it in that league or they're just not good enough. It happens. It's going to happen. But for the most part, look at the guys he did and look he brought in and look at the value that he made. Like Kalulu, he paid I think $750K for. Yeah. He's valued at over like 40 mil right now. Dude, like look at the profit on that. It's pure profit.
To me, it's just absurd because like when you start reading into like seeing everything on Twitter, Reddit, and everything like that, you see that Where the difference lied was Maldini literally said, I need a little bit more money because they wanted to keep the budget under 50 mil. And Maldini said, no, if you want a team that's going to compete long-term, short-term, whatever it is, I'm going to need more money than that.
Mhm.
And I think Pioli needs to go. And I think every Milan fan will agree Pioli needs to fucking go.
Like not
Like,
in a
respectfully.
not in a bad way. Like he did well.
Yeah, he did what he had to do.
But there's certain like those kind of coaches can only bring a team so far, and then they need to step back or take that step down and have a proper coach come in and take Milan to the next step.
Yeah.
It happens with every team. The steps you got to take to become that European, powerhouse. And that's what Maldini wanted. That's what he wanted Milan to become.
And that's fine. You look at City. They got Roberto Mancini. I think as much as I want to fucking stab him because of his Italian picks, the players he picked for the Italy team, I still think Mancini is a guy that he gets you to that next step. He builds a decent foundation that you bring to the next step. And you look at Manchester City. Manchester City got him. He built a foundation. He's bringing them to the next step. They left on mutual consent, whatever it was. Maldini was looking for that next step with the coach. Mm-hmm. And you're going to look at him and say, no, he's fine.
No, good,
that's you fine. Settling for something mediocre.
Yeah.
You don't want it. Like, you're looking at a profit, and that's all you are looking at. And
that's all Americans
to me, like, my question to you, Al, right now is, what kind of repercussions does a move like this actually have on Milan? Like, do you see players leaving?
Like, you're saying, just in general. Okay,
do you see players coming in?
Right off the bat,
right off the rip,
right off the
fucking rip, brother.
For Leao to come out, and first he tweets like that little thinking emoji, and then he posts that picture on Instagram of him re-signing with Masada and Maldini and putting like the black and red hearts. And then Tonali posted a picture with them with the hearts. And then Magnan posting a picture with them with like, it shows you how much these guys meant to the team. Yep. It's the equivalent of like a guy, like a face like Del Piero going to Juve. And obviously he's going to be a part. Crying. No, but he's going to be up like Totti going to Roma. And he's a part that players come there and want to stay there because he made them fall in love with the team and with everything involved with it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he gets kicked to the curb. Like, now these players are going to look and be like, okay, how do I know? Like, yeah, okay, they want to, they want me to stay there and do this. How do I know they're not just going to kick me to the curb 1 year? Or, how they'll just sell me off when I want to stay.
Yeah.
And who's going to want to stay for guys that, you have a guy like Maldini who, dude, no matter what team you support, who you are, you got to love Maldini.
Yeah. And if you have
respect
for
Maldini,
exactly,
you love Maldini. Yeah. It's Maldini. He's a fucking legend. And to let him go like that, dude, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a cut like Theo. I know he was already linked, but I think Maldini could have convinced him. Now, I could see him being a guy that goes on the move, especially with Bayern and PSG both interested in him. Magnan, he's been phenomenal for this season. He got a little bit, he got injured and he got unlucky.
Even the season before, he still comes back. But when he came back, dude,
before he got injured and after, he played unreal. Yeah. The best goalie in the league. Is just. It got obviously cut short because of how long his injury was, and that could become a factor. But that doesn't say, a team in the Prem or a team like PSG, especially because he's French, would go and splash cash on him because he's young. He's a proven goalie. Like, he did it with Lille, he did it with Milan. Where else does he need to prove it? Like, the guy's a good goalie.
Yeah.
He might say, yeah, you know what? I want to leave. And then they're going to be, okay, fuck, where we're going to look. They'll gain a profit on him. They'll gain a profit on Theo. And this could become like a really ugly situation if it doesn't get handled and controlled like right away. Like these, and I don't even know how you do that. Like that's the thing right now, man. I just want to see how this whole thing plays out because I think if you see like Theo come forward and he requests to leave and they end up getting rid of him, I can see it kind of spiral and you'll see like Magnan go and someone else go and the next person go and it just kind of all this progress that Milan had, which for 10 years when Juve was dominating the league, it's like they weren't even you saw Roma putting more of an attempt than Milan to try to actually do something and compete in the league. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, you saw Roma and Napoli and Lazio being like putting more of, even Lazio. There was one point they were doing better than both of them. They weren't doing as good as Roma. Obviously.
Yeah, no, obviously.
That's what I mean, dude. Obviously you guys were better.
Yeah, thanks,
see,
dude.
There's levels, man.
Respect that.
But they were both doing better than Inter and Milan. Finally, Milan figured things out. They got things moving forward. They brought in the right people. They signed the right guys because Maldini had a fucking Hawkeye. He knew where to look and which guys to actually invest in, and he knew where to take a gamble. Yeah, okay, not all of them worked out. The Ketelar's still young. People are writing the guy off. He's like, what, 23? The Ketelar?
I think he actually might be
younger.
I think he honestly might be like 21.
It's like, okay, like I know you don't like him, and he's been getting a lot of hate this year because he's not performing as like his last 2 seasons, but Vlahovic, yeah, okay, he's not performing. He still put up 20 plus goals 2 seasons in a row before this, and he's 22 years old. I'm not gonna write him off yet. Like, if next year he has another shit season, and then after that, yeah, okay, the guy's probably he's shit. Like he was just a one hit wonder, and that's it. But it's funny, man, how people just write off these players like right away. Like, dude, do you not remember Tonali? You guys didn't want you didn't want to buy him from Brescia. And now what? Now you guys, everyone, all Milan fans love him. Oh, dude, Pirlo, Gattuso.
He's the perfect player for. He works so well.
Yeah, with what happened the first season? Like, players take time sometimes, and not everybody will figure it out right away. Not everyone's gonna be like a Leao. Even Leao, first 2 seasons, the guy was shit.
I was just about to say, I don't think Leao hit the ground running.
Perry used to. Perry was probably the only one that actually liked him, but everyone else hated it. Like, he was shit, and I even thought he was shit. And then all of a sudden, this guy became a fucking like a Michael Jordan of soccer. The guy, every clutch moment, this guy was there. He would look like he wasn't even trying, and he would still deke through your whole team and score. Those guys now, the most interesting for me is the Leao thing, because he just resigned, and he even said, I only resigned because Maldini like convinced me.
So do you think like Maldini? Do you think he's gonna have an impact, like him leaving Milan? Do you think that's gonna have an impact on who they're able to bring in?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You
don't think they'll be able to bring? Because I saw they were supposed to bring in that Japanese guy, Kamada.
I think that's pretty much done.
No,
it's not done.
I was reading that apparently that might fall through.
Because he had the thing with the agreement was with Maldini.
So now, like, my question to you is
with Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah. So not
they had a meeting scheduled.
My question to you is, like, do you think these deals still happen, or do you think now that Maldini's out, everything falls? Not everything, but a good chunk of their whole transfer market business, whatever they had going,
I feel like
planned is just.
A lot of them that they like, it's obviously like throughout like now like this, like after January, like during the season, players will talk to like the sporting direction and stuff, and whatever, like I know Maldini, apparently they had an agreement with Milinkovic-Savic, like that, obviously just with him, but then they have to work it out with Lazio.
Yeah.
But that was already done, and he probably had other players too. But those players, now that he's gone, and now especially if the situation doesn't get handled, they don't appoint someone as a sporting director and someone that's like qualified and known, not just some guy that's cheaper and an American that's like, hey, okay, whatever, just hey, you're good at scouting, go try to find some Americans to bring in. And like something stupid like that. Then I if it's something happening like that happens, I can see a lot of these players not end up coming and end up going out there somewhere else, even for if it's less money or if it's a not like so top team. I can see them taking that road just because right now it's not in the greatest condition, especially when a guy like Maldini just got sacked out of nowhere.
Yeah. And Vieri on his little podcast himself came out and said if Maldini leaves, it's because the club won't put in a single euro.
Yeah.
Surely the Cardinale group isn't crazy if they allow Maldini to leave, blah, 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 whatever. Now, my question to you is, do you actually think that the Cardinale group came out and said, we're not going to give you the money? We're not going to fund you your transfer market? Do you think... Yeah.
I genuinely, because especially the way it played out that he got sacked, and it's not that he left. Like, I feel like he was asking for it. They said no. He said, well, like I need it. This is like the plans. Like we got to move forward. You guys are wrong. The whole thing with just not agreeing with about Pioli. They probably looked at it and was like, this is going to be an issue with this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want it to carry on. Let's just get rid of him. And they just got rid of him right there and then. They didn't want to give him money. They didn't want the whole thing to keep dragging on, that he's going to keep asking for it, even though he says no at first. And he's going to come back and say, I need it for this player here. They saw what his intentions were for the team. That didn't align with what they wanted to do with the team, whether it was spending or going forward with Pioli, because, again, it goes back to spending. He's a cheaper option. Yeah. You don't have to pay a coach more money with more experience because that's what they're going to want. They went that route. They said, this is what this guy's, he's not going to change his mind. We got to get rid of him because it's just going to cause problems for us. Yeah. And we're going to keep butting heads.
I just think with this whole thing, like, Maldini obviously had pull. Maldini was able to convince
any of these like guys like that, like Maldini, like these fucking like legends of the game. no matter like wherever they go to work, especially when it's like Milan has history, then you put a guy like Maldini in charge,
who was a part of that history.
Milan was already an attractive place to go. They just weren't for so long because it was just such a shit show.
Yeah.
Everyone loved the history, but like, dude, there was even time like in that banter era, guys were picking like that. They ended up signing who that through that time.
Carlos Bacca.
They were signing, and
that was an absurd signing.
Teams wanted him.
Yeah.
They ended up signing him, and it was because of because Milan. Yeah. Because they wanted to be, that guy to save them, whatever. And because, they used to be such a powerhouse team. They still had that kind of pull. But the pull that they had after with Maldini being in the team and it's Milan, dude, they weren't doing, like, they were shit in the league. The last couple seasons, they didn't make Champions League. They were still attracting people to come there.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was? Just because the club? No, it's because Maldini was
exactly.
There.
Yeah.
Maldini knew how to talk. He knew how to convince people. He was very good at that, and he knew the right people to talk to.
I mean, look at Theo Hernandez when he first signed. Right, what was his biggest persuading factor? Now, like at first, I won't even lie to you. A lot of these players, they said, "Oh yeah, Maldini's to thank for this because he put so much faith in me. He made me realize what it is to love this club." Blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't believe something like that because for me, it's like you're just saying that to win over the Milanese. Like, yeah, exactly. You want to win over the fans. You want to try to prove that you're going to be loyal forever. Blah 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 blah. But now that Maldini is gone, and you see their star-studded players come and make this kind of stand, that Leao said he wouldn't have extended if he knew Maldini was leaving. Theo is looking for a way out. Maignan looking for a way out. Like you see stuff like that, and it's just like, man, like sometimes your reputation and your name actually provides like that extra bit of push. Mm-hmm. Like now it makes sense why Lautaro Martinez is down to stay at Inter. He has Javier Zanetti there, huge Argentinian legend. What does Martinez want to be? An Argentinian legend.
Yeah,
make a name just like that, and it goes to show the power of loyalty. That like. We can't offer you those lucrative sums, but it's fine.
That's why I want to tell you these things when I say like, I would love to have Del Piero back at the club, and then you're saying, oh no, I don't want Totti back.
It does make me think, man.
It's a big benefit for the club, man.
It honestly does,
right? And especially now, like dude, like here's the thing: Roma's in okay, the players wise, like they don't have stars that like other top teams have in Italy.
What?
Okay, the selection of stars.
We got Cristante.
Okay, sure.
That's all we need. Scored a pen too.
But you guys have a coach like Mourinho, which probably better than a lot of the other top teams' coaches.
Yeah.
You guys can attract like okay, I know money's a little bit difficult, but they're able to make the signing, spend a little bit. You guys spent 40 mil in 2 seasons. Like you can spend the money. You bring in the right people like Totti that has an eye for actual talent because he was talent and he knows what it looks like and what just flashiness that it looks good, but then when you buy them, they don't actually do it. He can tell that difference. Mm-hmm. I feel like that stars like that, they have that eye for that. You bring him in there, he'll have the pull because he's fucking Totti. Like he's a king of Rome. Like
I want you guys all to remember that one thing he just said right there.
Yeah, he's a king of Rome.
That is going to be
the king of Lazio. But the king of Rome, Italy, is Ciro Immobile. Hey, I'll say Totti. Joe's had a rough week. It's okay. Yeah, Totti's the king of Rome, Joe.
No, but you know what? You are right. There was a thing I read. I'm changing the subject to Roma here, but there was a thing I read about how De Rossi approached Mourinho in the tunnel and said, like, no, you can't leave Roma. Mm-hmm. Like without you, we're nothing. And like that goes to show you that like De Rossi is literally a club legend. Yeah. Like a god amongst men in the Roman history, like with the team, whatever, same with Totti, whatever. And both these guys have come out and said, no, you need to stay. Now Mourinho's wishes are to get Totti and De Rossi to be a part of his staff.
To be a part of there.
And why is that? Because Mourinho could only convince so much. And now I'm starting to see why he wants those guys there. Yeah. Because it's like, after this whole Maldini departure, it's like, you actually see the power of a club legend coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. Like, now I wonder, like, fuck, I'm wrong. Again,
you guys have a coach pretty much like doing that. That's putting like changing the mentality of all the players in the team, like to be like to have like that winner's mentality and not just like whatever, let's just try to win
for a paycheck.
Yeah, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Let's just go out and have fun.
Good song.
He changed their mentality. He changed the way people look at Roma, and he can actually like just himself can convince people to come there.
Mhm.
Guys that he wants,
Yeah.
guys that he's worked with in the past. He has that pull. Imagine now you have him, and then backing him, you have a guy like De Rossi and Totti. You have those two guys backing Mourinho. Like Roma, I'm not saying like they're going to be like a deadly thing, but dude, if that, like, let's say they stay together, for now 2 more seasons, they make a couple signings, the right signings, they bring in the right people for Mourinho, dude. Like now that the league is, it's not being dominated by one team. It's kind of always changing. Inter's kind of, wishy-washy. Juve's in their own fucking, no one knows what the fuck's up with them. Milan's wishy-washy right now. Like, this is a good time for Roma to say, guys, now, okay, let's put our eggs in this basket and let's go balls deep for Serie A. Yeah. We haven't won it in how long? Let's go all in for now. Now this is the time. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's they have to play their cards right. Like Napoli saw that this year, they took advantage. They took full advantage. Roma needs to do that next.
You heard it here first.
Fuck Europe. Fuck Europa League. Fuck these. Go for the
I'll just said it, guys.
Go for the league.
Roma wins the 2023-2024 Scudetto.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying.
Here we go.
We'll do our predictions closer to the beginning of the season.
Here we go. Confirmed.
It's a little early prediction. Roma's winning it next year.
But on that note,
that patch will be back on the jersey.
I wish, dude. That'd be so sick. But
if it comes back, you got to buy an official jersey.
Obviously.
Okay, good.
At that point, I haven't bought a jersey in fucking.
This is the last one.
Yeah.
When they won.
Last one I have actually is when Totti retired because I'm a bum bitch. But regardless of that, I'm gonna actually end the episode.
She's trying to steal my job.
Because now I'm in my feels.
No,
I took my hat off.
Okay, I get it. No, I don't want him to cry again. He showed me the 2 pictures of him crying from.
I'll try to show you guys
from last week.
I'm gonna try to muster up the.
I don't want to see it again. I don't want you guys to see that. So on that note, guys, if you guys haven't yet, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to check out UltrasXI.com, our shop. Right now, it's kind of still the winter, fall kind of collection. We haven't really changed anything because, again, like Joe mentioned before, season 2 is coming up, so we're going to do like a whole kind of revamp of the brand. So keep an eye out for guys for that, and we'll hear ya. We'll see you next week, guys. Ciao.
See you later.